Hi guys! So I tested something I've been curious about for a while. I wanted to know if the Fast Peyote method is actually faster than classic peyote stitch. And honestly, the result might surprise you. First, let me show you what it looks like. So when I do the Fast Peyote method, I always start by stitching the first few rows as a regular peyote. You can't start the fast method from row 1, it just won't work. For me, the minimum is about 4 rows done the classic way. These are approximately 4 rows. And then you can switch to the fast method. Right now I'm making these Valentine heart earrings and it's 32 beads wide. With classic peyote, you would build it up bead by bead. But with this method, I pick up all 32 beads at once because this basically represents 2 rows. So I load them all onto my thread in one go. Slide them down. And then I pass the needle through the edge bead here to secure everything. Now, a very important note. Please don't try to pull it super tight. If you tighten too much, the beads won't sit nicely together. In my opinion, this fast method is actually more demanding when it comes to thread tension, because you have to set the tension right at the start. You need it to be just right because you are going to be zipping the beads into the gaps. So you don't want too much thread, but you also don't want it too tight. I personally prefer to keep it slightly looser rather than forcing it tight. Now I start zipping the beads together. On the right side, I pass through the second bead. And on the left side, I pass through the bead that sticks out from the row. And I just keep repeating that all the way to the end. I skip the black bead and go with my needle through this gold bead and diagonally to this light beige bead. You can sew it one by one, like this, through the right bead, through the left bead, or you can go diagonally, like that, 2 beads at once. I prefer this. Now, the big question, is this fast peyote method actually faster than classic peyote stitch? I was so curious that I literally grabbed a stopwatch and tested it. I made a peyote project with a standard pattern, and surprisingly the fast method ended up being about 15% slower than classic peyote stitch. And honestly, it makes sense when you think about it, because you still have to load all the beads onto your thread first, and then you still stitch through them one by one anyway. So it's basically an extra step, which is why it can take a little longer. But here's the big reason why I still like this method, even if it's technically slower. When I'm beading, I'm usually watching Netflix. So for me, this is really comfortable because I only need to focus on the pattern while I'm picking up the beads. I load 2 rows at once, and then after that I can just mechanically zip them together without staring at the pattern the whole time. And I can actually enjoy my show. So what I usually do is I combine both methods. I will stitch classic peyote for a while, then switch to this fast method for a bit, and then go back. I kind of alternate depending on how I feel. And now I know this method has been online for a while, so I also watched other tutorials, and I noticed something interesting in the comments. A lot of people were excited and said they need to try it because they think it will help them to keep consistent thread tension. And that honestly surprised me because I feel like it can be the opposite. With this method, you have to estimate the right tension immediately at the beginning, because once you have zipped a couple of beads, you can't really adjust the tension anymore. The thread just doesn't move much. So you have to be careful. If you pull it too tight, the end can look a bit uneven, and in extreme cases, the beadwork can start to twist. And if you are not using something strong like fur line, a softer thread could even snap. But if you leave it too loose, the beadwork can feel too soft and sloppy. So personally, I feel like you control tension better when you stitch bead by bead with classic peyote, compared to setting the tension for 2 rows at once. That's just my experience. And one more downside I see is fixing mistakes. If you make a mistake at the start and notice it later, there's a higher chance you will have to undo a bigger section, sometimes basically both rows. It's harder to correct than classic peyote, where you can often remove beads one by one more easily. On the other hand, I do think there's a smaller chance of making mistakes while you are working because you are focused when you pick up the beads and you are loading them all at once. So now I really want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments if you know this method, if you use it, and what you think about it. I'm genuinely curious because my experience is a little different from what I've seen people assume online. A lot of comments sound like expectations, like it must be faster or it must help tension, but I wanted to actually test it. So if you have tried it, please share your real experience, I'd love to hear. And also, if you want me to test something else, like another fast beading method or any technique you have seen online, drop your suggestions in the comments too. See you next time, bye!